Thomas Tuchel's England squad is a masterclass in global footballing heritage, but it's also a squad that, on paper, shouldn't even exist. If you look closely at the Three Lions roster, an unbelievable 19 out of 26 players were eligible to represent another country. We are talking about absolute talismans, Ballon d'Or contenders, and England's all-time record goalscorer, almost wearing completely different colours. Let's start with the player who had more genuine options than anyone else in this squad. Ezri Konsa could have represented 4 different nations. Through his father, he was eligible for the Democratic Republic of Congo, the same country Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Axel Tuanzebe chose instead of England. Through his mother, he had a clear path to Angola, a nation building its own promising generation of talent, and through those Angolan roots, he could even have claimed Portuguese citizenship and pulled on a Portugal shirt. 4 separate international futures. He chose England, and Aston Villa's composed centre-back has since become a reliable presence for Tuchel at the back. Konsa is not the only one who had a genuine decision to make. Most players never get to the point of formally choosing between countries, but Ivan Toney actually did, and he turned Jamaica down at a pivotal point in his career. Back in 2022, with Brentford chasing promotion to the Premier League, Toney made the decision to focus fully on club football rather than commit to Jamaica at international level. Years later, he's now a key part of Tuchel's England plans, with his role at this World Cup built almost entirely around his lethal penalty record from the bench. Elliot Anderson's situation went much further. This one is not hypothetical. Anderson actually played for Scotland right up to under 21 level, representing them in genuine competitive youth fixtures across several age groups. Steve Clarke publicly confirmed in August 2023 that the Tartan Army had their eye on the Whitley Bay-born midfielder as a future senior international. Anderson represented Scotland from under 16 all the way through under 21 before switching allegiance to England in 2024. Since Tuchel replaced Gareth Southgate, Anderson has become a genuine mainstay in England's midfield. Scotland came agonisingly close to keeping him. Just like Anderson, Eberechi Eze also had a nation quietly hoping he would choose them. Nigeria held real hope during Eze's youth career that he would eventually choose the Super Eagles, and given the sheer depth of Nigerian footballing talent emerging in Europe right now, it would have been a serious and significant addition to their attacking options. Born in London, Eze ultimately decided his future belonged with England instead. He has been open and honest about the decision, saying it represented the biggest opportunity of his career at the highest level of the sport, and that he holds no regrets about it whatsoever. Nigeria's loss became England's gain in the middle of the park. Nigeria's loss was one thing, but 2 entire Caribbean nations missed out on Reece James. Grenada and Dominica are minnows on the world football stage, and either nation would have jumped at the chance to call him up. His Grenadian roots come through his father, while his mother carries Dominican heritage. Injuries have disrupted large stretches of his career, yet he has fought his way back into Tuchel's plans at exactly the right moment. Instead, the Chelsea captain has become one of the most important defensive leaders in this England squad, marshalling the back line at a World Cup that 2 small Caribbean footballing nations could only have dreamed of experiencing through him. Kobbie Mainoo slipped away from one that fought especially hard to keep him. The Ghana Football Association made a genuine, sustained effort to convince Mainoo to represent his parents' birthplace, seeing him as a generational talent worth fighting for. Both of Mainoo's parents are Ghanaian, and the pull of that heritage was real. But Mainoo, born and raised in Stockport, held firm. He committed fully to England, starred at Euro 2024 as a teenager, and has continued to develop into one of the most technically gifted young midfielders this country has produced in years. Ghana came far closer than most casual fans realise. Mainoo is far from the only midfielder England could have lost. Up front, the story repeats itself with Marcus Rashford. His family heritage stretches across Jamaica and St Kitts and Nevis, giving him genuine international options beyond England that many fans still forget about. But Rashford has worn the Three Lions since debuting at just 18 years old back in 2016, becoming one of the most recognisable English forwards of his generation in the process. Jude Bellingham's alternative path leads somewhere much closer to home. His grandparents were Irish, giving the Real Madrid superstar a genuine path to representing the Republic of Ireland. He also held eligibility for Kenya through his mother's side. Instead, Bellingham has become an absolute talisman for England on the biggest stages in world football. Remarkably, his younger brother Job still has the option open to eventually choose Ireland, meaning this particular story within the Bellingham family may not be finished just yet. Bellingham was not the only England star with Irish blood running through his family. England's all-time top goalscorer, Harry Kane, very nearly wasn't English at all, at least on paper. His grandparents on his father's side were born and raised in Connemara, Ireland, before emigrating to London in search of a better life. Had things gone even slightly differently, the Bayern Munich superstar and current England captain could easily have been leading out the Republic of Ireland at this World Cup instead. Instead, he has become one of the greatest players this country has ever produced, in a shirt that so easily could have been green, and that brings us to the most dramatic story of them all. Declan Rice did not simply have Irish eligibility sitting on paper the way Bellingham and Kane did. He actually played for the Republic of Ireland at senior level, making 3 appearances in friendly matches before formally switching allegiance to England in February 2019. FIFA allowed the change because those particular appearances came in non-competitive fixtures. The decision sparked one of the biggest international eligibility debates English and Irish football have seen in years. Rice addressed it directly at the time, writing that he considered himself of mixed nationality with equal respect for both countries and describing the choice as one made with both his heart and his head. Today he's one of the most complete midfielders in world football and a central figure in Tuchel's setup. But for 3 matches in an Ireland shirt, this entire list could have looked completely different. And there is more. Ezri Konsa's grandparents opened doors to 3 separate nations. Scotland, Ghana and Barbados were all realistic options before he settled on England, one of Tuchel's most surprising and eyebrow-raising call-ups in the entire squad. Jed Spence carries a Jamaican mother and a Kenyan father, yet chose England and became the first Muslim player to represent the 3 Lions at senior international level. Nico O'Reilly's Jamaican heritage runs through his father, but the young Manchester City fullback never seriously considered anything other than his country of birth. Trevoh Chalobah was born in Freetown, Sierra Leone, and could genuinely have represented the West African nation at senior level, though a late call-up following Tino Livramento's injury has firmly cemented his English future. Up front, the options keep stacking up. Both Morgan Rogers and Ollie Watkins held pathways to Jamaica, mirroring Rashford's own situation, yet both Villa forwards chose England. Noni Madueke resisted a genuine push from Nigeria during his time at Eindhoven. Bukayo Saka faced that same choice, Nigeria versus England, and has become one of the finest attacking talents this country has produced. And Anthony Gordon had 2 international suitors, Scotland and the Republic of Ireland, before declaring for England ahead of Euro 2024. 1 England squad. 19 players who could so easily have worn different colours entirely, representing nations across 3 continents and multiple footballing confederations. Every single one of them chose the 3 Lions in the end, and together they form one of the most fascinating and diverse squads in this entire World Cup. Which of these players do you think England came closest to losing? Drop it in the comments. Hit that like button, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video like this. Catch you in the next one.